Our division is delivering wireless solutions, both for the indoor Wi-Fi coverage, as well as outdoor point-to-point, point-to-multipoint, as well as mesh citywide networks as well.
What next generation technologies are you showing at IP Expo this year?
So what we're showing here today at IP Expo is a key new wireless LAN architecture, which we call Wing 5. And Wing 5 really enables the application support that normally resides on a Wi-Fi controller down to the access of the network. So we can have the same kind of services, for example on security, things like authentication, firewall, self-healing, all these kinds of services. We can now also have that on the access point, so if anything happens on the wireless controller, you still have the same services, the same kind of security on the access point. At the same time, because we have all these services on the access point, you can bridge the traffic locally and route it in the most optimal way to the end device. So you don't need to go all the way through the controller and then tunnel it back to the end device. So we can do the most efficient way through the network to the controller. And this is really new and different to what our competitors are doing. They're still using the controller to tunnel all the traffic back. And if you look at 802.11n, you're really creating a choke point because you're creating so much traffic and then sending it all back to the centralized controller. This is really creating a bottleneck or a choke point, and we are reducing that by delivering the services to the end, to the access point itself.
What market trends could you mention for the IT infrastructure market in 2010?
So if I look specifically for wireless networking, clearly video and voice, besides data on a Wi-Fi network or any kind of wireless network, is really what we are now seeing as a big trend within our customers. For example, in education, a lot of universities and higher education schools, they are now looking for new ways to deliver content to the students. And using voice, podcast, video streaming to laptops is a great way to deliver content instead of having, typical PDF documents on a laptop or things like that. So yeah, clearly voice and video are big trends that we now see happening on a Wi-Fi network. Yeah.
Are there any markets for these solutions besides education?
Absolutely, yeah. I mentioned education and healthcare because we now clearly see those kind of markets now really picking up in terms of investments in wireless and mobility solutions. But hospitality, for example, is another great market for us. We have a solution specifically designed for hotels, where, still in a lot of hotels today, you have poor coverage inside the hotel room. We have just announced a new product which we call the wireless wall plate AP that resides inside the guest room, providing really good 802.11n coverage instead of having just poor coverage outside your hotel room. So that's another market. Of course, we are still also strong in retail, transport and logistics and manufacturing markets. Those markets are still heavily relying on wireless technologies today for their daily logistics handling and operations. Yep.